on the way over here, I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts.
Nice.
I don't know. You know how sometimes you just have a sweet tooth, and I got a little 12-pack of the pumpkin munchkins.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like eating these munchkins, and I was like, man, I eat like a 21-year-old white woman for real. It's like pumpkin spice munchkins, dude. I have like, it's great. I don't drink like pumpkin spice lattes or anything like that, but any baked good that has pumpkin in it, I'm all about it. Wow. It is so good. It is so good. I need to clean that shit up, bro. It's real.
I can't even remember the last time I had a donut.
What?
Yeah.
3 days today, and before that, like 3 days ago. No, I eat. I'm one of those people, like, if you want to diet great and be clean, but when you want something good, just have that thing.
Yeah.
You know, don't eat like almond flour cookie with vegan chocolate chips and shit. Just have a cookie. Just enjoy it. Yeah. So, but just do what you're supposed to do like 90% of the time, and then you shouldn't feel bad about.
Do you see the actor that plays Jack Reacher? His diet?
Yeah, that dude.
He's like, he says he eats anything he wants, and I don't know.
How many calories has he? I mean, that dude is well, he's eating steroids as well. Yes. Let's just go ahead and be transparent about that. Allegedly. But yeah, that dude is massive. Alan Richardson.
Yeah.
That dude is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. He's in Fast 10. That dude, and then he wears like skin tight jeans and skin tight shirt all the time. Like his dress shirts are like spandex. The dude is ripped.
Monster.
It is a monster, man. Welcome to the Alpha Geek Podcast, where we embrace our geekdom and respect everyone else's. Please like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up so we can know you're supporting the show, and because we greatly appreciate that. We are your hosts. I'm Antoine Brett, and this is the man, the myth, the legend, Tarash Denisinko. How you doing, brother?
What's up? Good. So I was in Raleigh this past weekend for a dance competition, and I got a pretty good interview with a world 9-dance champion that we'll hopefully have in the future. Not only is he a world champion, but he's a world-class Call of Duty gamer.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So we talked about a couple things on that. Looking forward to it. But crazy thing is there's the franchisee of one of the studios that was there. I could have swear that he is like Ra's al Ghul and came out of the Lazarus pit. Yeah. We were all like at the party afterwards. We're all talking about like how old everybody is, and it's usually one of those things that you don't talk about. But dude said he's going to be 81 years old. I thought he was like 65. I was like, dude,
hell yeah,
like seriously, holy cow,
man.
But he's Egyptian.
Some of that. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
there it is, man. It's like those Egyptians, man. They look great. Oh, would that be considered like Middle Eastern, right? That's Middle Eastern, right? Yeah. So I think, man, all that good vitamin D sun they're getting over there, man.
Yeah.
In the desert. And plus, you know, I think just from a genetic trait.
For sure. It's got to be. I'm like, I got 2 replaced hips. My knee's feeling bad. He's like, I'm not even close to 81. And like, holy cow. But yeah, good on you, Muhammad.
That's dope. Hell yeah. I hope I look that good I hope I look anyway when I'm 80. That's like, just as long as I'm functioning. I don't care all the abuse I put my body throughout, you know, through the MMA career and all that stuff. Like, I just want to be coherent at that point, man. Yeah, this dude is like, he's like teaching lessons. He was out competing with his students and like not moving like an 80-year-old, like hunched over or complaining. He's like pops up out of his seat. Really? He's like walking. I'm like, God, man. God love him, man. That's awesome. That's dope. Man, write a book. Tell us what you put in. What are you eating?
Yeah.
Like just squirrels, just squirrel diet. Just
I'm telling you, man, Lazarus pit. This event was at the Prestonwood Country Club, which looked like freaking Wayne Manor. Anyway, whatever he's doing is amazing.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
But speaking of amazing, how about this amazing, crazy news about the land of Star Wars?
Yes,
and
man. God, listen, we're gonna run it down today. I'm sick of the bullshit. Let's just like run it all down today. All right, go ahead. Tell us what's going on with Star Wars.
Well, we got all sorts of now. Following a bunch of other Star Wars YouTubers who have inside scoops on all the drama that's happening in there, from the Kathleen Kennedy to oh my gosh, I just forgot her name, the director, to Daisy Ridley, to now there's also the actress who is in Snow White. Just forgot her name. She wants to be part of the Star Wars universe, and like all these people who are failing are wanting to jump in on Star Wars to take it down even more. It's I don't know.
Charmine Obaid-Chinoy, the director. Yeah, and it's gonna get ugly. Yeah, it's gonna get really ugly, man. The whole Star Wars thing in itself has turned into like how can we like just push our agenda and push like the DEI agenda. And it has almost nothing to do with making a good movie at this point, man. It's all like, I feel like she's less of a director and more of an activist. Yeah. I think that's what's happening. Oh, totally. And she's just like, just totally pushing that agenda, man. It's not pretty at all.
To the point where she is now suing Disney. She's going after them because she wants out of the contract, or because she got fired out of 4 contracts. Right. And when she signed on the contract, right at the last minute, she demanded more money. Right. And so the latest news I heard was that she's willing to step away from the new Rey movie and just to get those other 4 shows, whatever she had, she wants that back.
She wants that back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Done deal. Shake on it, Disney. Bob Iger, get that done. And
get it done.
It's obvious. Like when you have this many in any facet of life, when you have this many problems going into something, you got to read the writing on the wall, dude. You gotta, something's not right. Let's pivot. Let's figure it out. And when, like you said, she got super upset that Daisy Ridley got more money. And, if you have a budget and your star of the movie is asking for more money and they give it to her, that cash is coming from somewhere. Yep. And I think and it wasn't like a huge amount. It was like a 5% decrease or something like that. I'm like, look, listen, where's your priority? Is your priority to make a good Star Wars film? Because that 5% that you're losing now, you're going to make that, if your movie is bomb, you're going to make that back on points. Yep. So, give it up. Give the cash up.
Daisy Ridley's budget, so I think she signed on for like 10.5 million or something. I don't know if that was the first movie. I was watching this other guy. He was talking about the different budgets of these different actresses. And her budget was a 1/5 of the entire budget of the movie. Yeah. It's like, holy cow. So if you don't profit, or if you don't make, how can you sit there as an actress and be like, this is what I want, which supersedes everyone else's budget, everyone else's pay? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, and relatively in the first movie, she was a relative newcomer. Yeah, she had some stuff under her belt, but when you go into an IP like Star Wars, it's like that can make your career. I mean, we look at it now. She's done 2 movies. She's going on a 3rd movie, and like that's what we're looking at, a 7-year commitment at this point. Yeah. Like that's, you got to know like you got to look at the long term. You got to look at like, you can't look 5 minutes in front of your face. You have to, and you got to respect the product too. Right. You have to respect Star Wars as the product and know that because I guarantee you, back, when George Lucas made the original Star Wars, like the Harrison Ford and those guys, they didn't complain about the money. No, I can guarantee you they didn't complain about the money because they knew something great was being made. Yeah, and they know that shit was going to come back around on the back end. Yeah. So,
the only actor that had an original problem or didn't want to do the movie was Obi-Wan. He was like, this is childish. I think he had felt like, because he was like a classically trained Shakespearean actor, and he was like, I'm going to play what? So, but
Force Ghost, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, man. It's like the Disney shit is getting insane. Talking like kind of staying in the same vein. Moving over to Marvel a little bit. Tatiana Maslany, man. And so let me preface by saying I am a fan of the job that Tatiana Maslany did in She-Hulk. I didn't necessarily like She-Hulk, but I can recognize how between the work that the actor puts in and the final product that comes out that we see, there can be there's a whole lot of gray area in between.
Yeah.
But I think she stepped in and she went off on Marvel and went off on the fans, blaming the, and I'm going to quote, this is a direct quote, the toxic masculinity of the male majority was the reason for the cancellation of season 2 of She-Hulk.
What is the demographic that these shows are for? What is, if they did a demographic research, like what is the fan base? So
the majority of the fan base are male, between the ages of, at this point, between the ages of 25 and 34.
Yeah.
That's the majority of the male fan base, or the fan base as a whole. Still, if you make a bad product, people aren't going to like it. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, we have so much material out there that's being made with male leads and female leads, and if it's good, people go and see it. If it's bad, they have no problem telling you about it. And I think that's where it kind of comes down to. If you make a great movie or a great show, you'll know based on the numbers. The numbers will tell you. If you make a bad movie or a bad show, the people are going to tell you.
Yeah.
And these fans, they have vested interest. They love this stuff. They love this material, and they're going to tell you about it. If you try to expand on a universe that the fan base has become accustomed to, based on all the books, all the graphic novels, all the comic books, everything. If you change that too much, people are going to push back. People hate change, man. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't expand on these characters and this source material in a way that's logical and helps you move along in the character. You should definitely do that. But don't do it while trying to push like this DEI agenda and overly push it. Try to shove it down people's throat. Like, no one cares if you have a female lead.
Right.
No one, we don't care. I'm telling you, I'm speaking for the fans right now. We don't care if it's a female-led movie.
Right.
And I'm part of evidently the majority toxic masculine male that's watching the shit. But we don't give a shit. We just want good content.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, and even as a female lead, like Daisy Ridley, I personally enjoyed her. I liked her presentation. I just and as a character, as an actress, I personally enjoyed it. It was just bad storytelling.
It was bad. There you go. It was bad storytelling. And it comes down, these directors go in, and I think that they get their hands on this product, the script, the writers, they get their hand on the product and they say, okay, how can I make this mine? Or how can I create this story based on what I see?
Yeah.
Which is fine, 'cause as a director, that's what you do. But you can do that when there isn't the amount of source material that we have in these books.
Exactly,
and we have, it's already there for, and I said it over and over again. You can go back to podcast number 3 and I said the same thing. It's up to you not to fuck it up. And that's what's happening. The material is there. The Flash already, ran back in time. Superman already made the earth spin backwards. We've already seen it. It's there. We want what's on the pages to be live action.
Yeah.
That's what we want to happen. And you guys aren't doing it. The directors are not doing that right now. And the fans are speaking back.
Yeah. And they're utilizing the multiverse to completely change what the storyline is and to create their own agenda, which is and people are seeing right through that.
Yes, man. The overage of the whole multiverse thing is getting ridiculous. And it was cool when it was a little bit.
Yeah.
It was all right. You had Captain Carter as the Captain America. That's cool. We can deal with that. But now it's turning into, you're using, like you said, you're using the whole multiverse thing to push your agenda. Kind of like the third act. Have you heard about the third act in Deadpool 3?
Yes.
So evidently Hugh Jackman is super upset. He actually threatened breaching his contract, threatened not coming into the premiere of Deadpool 3 because they wanted to go in and do rewrites. And in the rewrites, the X-Men were going to all be gender swapped.
Whoa.
Yes. All be, and like not you know, a female version like who was it, Rogue and Dazzler and things like that. Not that. Female versions of characters we used to, female Magneto, female Cyclops, female, and they were gonna use a multiverse spin in order to sell this idea. Along with the fact that there was some very, very, very cringy dialogue coming from the Wolverine character that Hugh Jackman was just like, nah, I'm not saying that shit. I'm not doing it. And it's nuts.
Yeah.
You can't, and then you blame the fans. You can't blame the fans for that the fans don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see. It's like me, Tom Hanks starring in Sex and the City 6 at playing, Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Nobody wants to see that. I like Sex and the City. Yeah. I don't want to see Tom Hanks playing Carrie Bradshaw. And it sounds stupid and is as ridiculous in this as it sounds in that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just messing with people's like, and just to repeat the what is true is you're changing the content and everything that has already been written. It's already there. We grew up reading the comic books. It's what we expect. We expect these characters to be, and you said this in the past, what they are in the comic books. You can mess with it a little bit, use your artistic privileges, but you can't just. That's just crazy. I didn't hear about that one. That's bananas.
Oh yeah, no, and that's part of the reason. So we talked a little bit about how Disney took those 5 projects away from Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for that is because Ryan Reynolds went to bat for Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
And Disney being the monster that they are, say, okay, so you want to go to bat, we'll give you this, but we're taking away that. And for Ryan Reynolds to take away 5 projects, it's like, Ryan Reynolds is a fucking billionaire. That's cool.
Right.
But what you did is Levy and Reese, the co-writers on Deadpool, they were supposed to write on those projects as well.
Right.
And now they're out of a job.
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of kids, man. They're like, I was listening. We both listened to Mike Zero.
Mike Zero, he's awesome.
And he said it perfectly. He was like, they're eating themselves now.
Yeah,
they are, because you cut your nose to spite your face. You're trying to do this one thing, and everybody's not falling in line. Of course, everyone's not falling in line because we're fucking adults.
Yeah.
And we have an opinion. And Disney's just like, okay, we're going to take, and inevitably it's just going to lose everyone money.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to lose money.
I love Mike Zero's just deadpan presentation. He just like slams them, but It's like,
he's awesome, dude.
He's so good.
He's awesome.
Oh man. So he's like one of those insiders that gets all this information and there's a couple other guys that I follow too, but Mike seems like he's got the real, because he comes out with information almost on the daily.
Yeah.
And the amount of drama that's got to happen at Disney, like imagine working there and just dealing with all these egos and this they're talking about toxic masculinity. Like what do you think you're all doing?
And because you're attacking a portion of the fandom that doesn't agree with your the way that you see things or the way you want to do things. It's like, you just want these like mindless zombies to go, take the walk into the theater, buy your popcorn and just sit in front of the screen and just watch whatever you decide to put out.
Yeah.
And the fans aren't going to do that. We did that for so long. We are now appreciating how good Iron Man 3 was, because Iron Man 3 at that time, you would ask what was the weakest movie in the MCU, and Iron Man 3. While it was a pretty good movie, it was nowhere as good as Thor, nowhere as good as the first 2 Iron Man, nowhere as good as the first Avenger, any of that. Now people wish they had an Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
They were praying for Iron Man 3 now. And it's, when the product goes, people, you have 2 choices. You can sit back and just consume whatever they put out, or you can push back. And that's what the fans are doing. They're pushing back.
And Disney's got a responsibility. They should really look at themselves, and like you just mentioned, like Reese is out of a job because of the whole Ryan Reynolds thing. Well, what about all these movie theaters that if you put out terrible movies, no one's going to go to the theaters, and movie theaters have huge rents and this huge footprints of buildings, and you have a responsibility. That's what you do. That's your job. This is what we do. We create good movies, good content that people can go watch, enjoy. Just do your job.
I know, do your job. But that's the thing, though. They're not putting out terrible movies. We're wrong. We're wrong. Remember, we're the toxic. Right. We're the fan base, the toxic masculine fan base.
Yes.
Who are the most outspoken portion of the fan base, and we're influencing the rest of the fan base not to go and watch these films. Right. That's what's happening. It's all us.
It's all us. Just you and me solely, and the other small percentage of Star Wars fans. Shit. Small percentage. There's golly,
it's nuts, man. Tatiana also went on. This is what tripped me out. She was like, the majority of fans now are tired of the same old, i.e. Iron Man, Thor. They want to see more diverse characters because they're sick of the same old superheroes. And what? What?
You're so wise.
Dude, you talk about biting the hand that feeds you. You would not be here if it wasn't for Iron Man. If it wasn't for those original, what we call the big, was it 4 or 5? The big 5. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, there would be no She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. There'll be no Echo. There'll be nothing. No WandaVision, anything. Anything would be here. God, it's so crazy. The reason why your movies and shows are doing so shit is because you forgot that that's what the fans actually want. Yeah. You can't do too much of that shit. You're on Thor, 5? You're going on 5 now? You can't do too much of that shit. And you brought out, and even like the Dark World wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But when Tiger got his hands on it, if you had to pick the worst Thor movies, which ones would you pick?
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, right? Because you can't change shit too much, man. We want to see, again, what's in the books, put it on screen. You don't even have to think that much, dude. You just say, okay, on page 6 he did that. All right, in scene 17, this is what he's gonna do.
Yep.
Easy stuff, man. And we will watch it because that's what we want to see, because that's what we're used to seeing. Yeah, as a director, you can, put your stamp on it from a visual standpoint, from a CG standpoint. You can put your stamp on it, but don't change it.
Right.
You don't have to change it to put your stamp on it.
It goes back to the responsibility of following everything that came before you and following, like you said, that content that was there. It was already there. And there's it's interesting too, is like Daisy Ridley, I think, is now doing this. Do you know the actress's name that played Snow White? That's in Snow White.
In the new Snow White?
In the new Snow White.
I do not.
She came out and said that the original Snow White scared her. She was so frightened of it. Now she's coming out and saying how much the movie she enjoyed, and she just has such fond memories on the original movie, because she's getting all this pushback because how they're changing that whole storyline. Daisy Ridley now is doing the same thing. They're trying to backpedal and win back fans by coming out and completely going against what they initially said. Just like, people are seeing through this stuff.
Yeah, they are seeing through it. And, it's going to be, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because we aren't even to 2025 yet.
Yeah.
Like all these projects are going to be in production in 2024. And that's what we're going to get in 2025. You have an entire year to continue to beat the shit out of these properties, man. And that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
And I don't know. the one thing I can agree with that Tatiana Maslany said is that a lack of leadership is the reason why we are in the position we are. The lack of leadership with Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, like I feel like they are the beginning and end of all of this shit that as it pertains to Marvel and Star Wars. So just find a fan, find a director who's a fan of this property, who has always been a fan, and let them do it. Just hands off, delegate,
Yeah. And seriously, that's like that's a profound statement right there. Just being like, just find a director that's a fan. Because now Kathleen, like Obaid Chinoy, Kathleen Kennedy picked her, and now Obaid Chinoy is like, she's going against Kathleen Kennedy,
making her look like shit now. No, honestly, like we and no matter what movie across the board, DC, Marvel, the best movies that we've gotten are from directors who have at least a moderate knowledge of this. I mean, you don't have to be a super fan, but have a moderate knowledge. Just like we can talk Justice League, the Snyder cut of Justice League. Now, people are on the fence about how good that movie was. First of all, it was 19 hours long, so and no one lived through that. It was a long movie, but the one thing that all fans that can agree on is that the nightmare scene at the end was the best.
Yes.
Because it was pulled right from the pages. It was from the Injustice storyline. We wanted it. We want to see an edge on Superman. And when he did it, everyone was like, oh shit, this is going to be. And we were hoping that there was going to be a sequel. We were praying for it. And, we all know what happened with that. But when you pull from that, I mean, again, I can't say it enough. I'm beating the fucking horse, but you have to give the fans what they want from the pages of the book. I mean, it's. I feel like it's so simple, man. They're making their job so much harder.
So much harder. Going back to that leadership comment, like Kathleen Kennedy, I don't think has ever been anything other than what she is. She wants to get rid of the whole Skywalker thing. I don't think she's ever not backed away from that. Iger, on the other hand, flip-flops all the time. And I feel like that's the weak leadership. Kathleen Kennedy is a dragon. She's a dragon. She's a dragon. Iger doesn't know what he is.
I can agree with that. He went on to say that they're gonna when the Marvels went to shed, he blamed a lack of leadership on set is why that movie didn't do well. Then he went on to say that we're not going to push the DEI agenda. And then he went on, he said our priority is to make good movies and not push agenda. We don't push agendas. Then he went on to say, well, we're going to try to push DEI agenda in a logical way.
Right.
Like which one is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it? And again, I want, fairness for everyone. I want everyone to be represented in a movie in the way that the source material allows. And you can make small changes, right? Like Kingpin, the old Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Kingpin was black. Michael Clark Duncan did an awesome fucking job. But we recognized that wasn't the Kingpin that we were used to seeing. So you change one thing, and it's cool, it's okay. It's sign of the times. The times change, so properties change. But when you try to do too much of that, people are going to push back again. People hate change, man.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Can you hear the passion in our voices?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like the desperation.
Seriously, man. Because I want nothing more for all these projects to go. I want Disney and Marvel to eat. I want $800 million box office. I want the movie theaters to be packed. I want people to go and see this stuff, but you're not putting up a great argument right now, Marvel, DC. I mean, come on. I mean, anytime you have an Aquaman movie, the first movie that makes $880 million to the second one that makes a little bit over $200 million, you got to ask what you're doing wrong. You can't blame the fans for a 71% drop off in revenue. So man,
people don't want to get involved. Like there's too much drama in Disney, too much of that DEI agenda, and people don't want to be part of that. They want to go to movies to escape all that. The world is hard enough. That's why we go to the movies. We want to experience an escapism, like an escape.
That's an awesome point, man. Like the world is already full of shit. We know that, there's, women in the Middle East are terrorized. We know that even here, there's an argument that there is a toxic masculine culture. There is an argument. You'll be an idiot not to say that, and as there is a toxic feminine culture, it just is what it is. And this is the world we live in. But like you said, we go to the movies and we go to consume these things because we want to release from that. We don't want to hear the fucking kids going off. We don't want to hear the bullshit from our boss. We don't want to hear the, the wife saying, take the trash out, do this, do that, get out of my face, fuck you, no, fuck you. We don't want that, dude. We want to go, you know what, babe, I'm going to the movies for 2 hours. I love you, but that's what's happening. And you go there and at least for an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can forget about all the bullshit.
Yep. On a personal note, when I was driving up to Raleigh, Wendy had to stay home and take care of the house because of our critter problem. We think we had a squirrel die on our wall, so it smells like death in our house. But I was driving up to Raleigh in her car, and her car is like super quiet, and I didn't play anything. I mean, I played a Joe Rogan podcast, and I listened for about an hour, but for about 2 hours, I just drove in silence. Yeah. And just, dude, it's like sometimes you just, as an example, you just shut everything off, and the movies do that for people. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like we need it. We need you to be successful, Marvel.
Yes.
Marvel, Star Wars, DC, even going back to DC, now that James Gunn is at the helm, do we have faith that he is gonna, improve those properties? Because, he's, and I don't know if this is a direct quote, but a lot of people feel that he's gonna do a more Marvel-y type of take on the DC universe or the cinematic universe, which, worked for Marvel well up to phase 3 or phase 4. But, can you do that again? Can you recreate that? Yeah. Is it even smart to try to recreate that? Like have we been there, done that type thing, and nobody wants to see it again? I like James Gunn as a director. I think that like the Guardian movies were great. Yeah. Right. But I think we can all agree that they gradually got weaker as they went on.
That third one, did you not to cut you off, but did you like the third one?
I liked it, and I think part of it, I was looking at it from a nostalgic standpoint. I loved the franchise. I knew this was going to be the last movie, and I wanted to appreciate. I wanted to watch it and love it. Which is a little mind tricks, but no, I thought it was a good enough movie.
It was good enough. It was good enough. I liked the whole storyline behind Rocket and following how he became. But the whole opening, I was like, what's happening? Like, why? I don't know. I kind of lost me there, but
I mean, James Gunn is kind of, I guess eclectic to say, for lack of a better word. So he'll he's a director, and he's one of those people. The thing about the Guardians of the Galaxy is that when James Gunn got that, they weren't mainstream characters. Same thing with Iron Man. When Favreau got that, he wasn't a mainstream character. So you could really. And people had been chomping at the bit to get some sort of live action comic book type of thing. So honestly, back then you could have respected the property and put out just about anything, and people would have loved it. You could, and that's where we are now. Yeah. But now that Iron Man, household name. Yep. Captain America, household name. Who is next? That's why so many people are scared for the Young Avengers. The Thunderbolts, the X-Force movies. People are afraid because now these are characters that aren't very popular characters and have very little source material. A good amount of source material, but not a lot. And like, can Marvel do that again? Can they recreate that? And I just don't know if that's possible, but I don't know the answer either. Do you take a super popular character like, I don't know, like Silver Surfer, and gender swap them? Because that's what's happening. Oh man, I don't know what it is, man. Do they think that some characters are just so big we can basically do whatever we want with the character and people are still going to like it? You know, like I don't get it.
It's the exact opposite. Take the stuff that has less source material. Take something that has this faint recognition, and then manipulate that if you want. But don't take the stuff that is like a staple. Like people always say, if you want to send a message, if you want to inject your agenda, then make a different movie.
Exactly. Make a different movie. Yeah, just do your own thing. Make some shit up.
Yep.
And it's
crazy,
I don't know, man.
I will say this though, before we jump off of that Marvel book, those Marvel books I got, I'm excited to actually read those to see, because it's supposed to say from its inception and through the phases, to actually read about how it came all together. Because just looking through some of the photos, man, that stuff looks complex to make those movies. It looks complex, expensive. I'm excited to read their recipe for success, and then how they just pissed it away.
Yeah, I know, right? That's another thing too. It's like it takes so much money. It's like catering. You know, you look at some of these movie budgets, like $1.7 million in catering. Like, you're spending so much money and you're putting so much effort. I mean, and just the graphics, the CG, just in itself, you're paying millions and millions of dollars for that.
Yeah.
And then you put out this steaming pile of shit for the fans to consume. I mean, seriously, that's what you could. We all saw, again, going back to Zack Snyder, we saw the Joss Whedon cut, and then we saw the Zack Snyder cut. Mm-hmm. Exact same movie, exact same fucking movie, exact same footage, and the Snyder cut was an hour and a half longer, and people still prefer that movie.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. It's
so
nuts,
crazy,
man. It's like it all, like, you have to have a director that wants what the fans want.
Yeah.
Not just, you could, because you're gonna get paid regardless.
Yeah.
You know, once you put it in the can, you're gonna get paid regardless, man.
Yeah.
And then the fans are just stuck looking at the bullshit that you came up with.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you're wanting to go this direction, but I wonder if somebody has something on Bob Iger like they do Vince McMahon.
Dude, probably. I mean, how can you be that? And this is a joke, but I'm gonna say it anyway. How could you be that old and that rich and not fucking have some skeletons in the closet?
Sure.
Yeah, Iger. God, what did he do?
Yeah.
What did you do, Bob? What did you do? What did they have on you? That Vince McMahon shit is crazy in itself.
Dude.
Oh man, dude. He Vince stepped in it.
Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, because if you keep track of WWE and everything, and you were around during the Attitude Era and saw all the storylines that Vince helped put together and were a part of, you're like, yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even, there's no debate. Like, Vince is, while he's a genius, and he's from what he did for the WWE, bringing it from like a very small territory, taking it over from his dad and turning it into a $21 billion company.
Yep.
Not a lot of people can do that. Very, very few people can do that, actually. And he did it. But he likes the ladies.
Yeah.
Vince likes the ladies, man. And I don't listen. We don't know if he actually did it, but the majority of the fans are kind of like,
it's plausible.
Yeah. And then he brought in, Brock Lesnar was supposed to be at the Royal Rumble. Speaking of Royal Rumble, go check out my reviews out. I was 3 for 3 on my predictions. Hell yeah, I was hyped about that, especially with Bailey winning the female Royal Rumble. I was like, I really sense Bailey winning this, and I was on it. But when you go back to the Rumble, Brock Lesnar was supposed to be in the Rumble, and a lot of people are saying that Braun Breaker, who is Scott Steiner's son, or a lot of people who don't know that, but he looks just like him. So he took Brock's spot and mopped up everyone that Brock was supposed to mop up, and then was eliminated by Dominic Mysterio, which was supposed to stem a feud between Brock and Dominic Mysterio. of course, with all this going on, and the accusation is that the pictures that this young lady sent were to Brock Lesnar. And so that's why they were like, Brock, stay away. Vince McMahon steps down as CEO of the WWE, which was inevitable. He honestly, he should have done that like a year ago. And TKO, who just brought The Rock onto the board of the company, they're just, we're going to handle it in house. We're going to address it the way, we see fit. And honestly, they probably just pay the girl off and it'll go away.
Yeah.
3 months, you won't even be thinking about it anymore. The stock prices went up, actually.
Oh, really?
The stock is like, how many companies have something come out like this and the stock actually goes up? Dude. And a lot of people are saying, well, around the same time The Rock came on the board, so that pushed the stock prices up. But still, dude. Can you oh man, that dude is like bulletproof, man. Yeah, that dude, it's crazy, man. And I'm glad. Okay, of course, any abuse of any person, man, woman, using your power to exploit any woman is zero. No, zero tolerance should be. But. But this is going to go away. Yeah, this is going to go away. It just is. This girl is gonna. This lady has. This is just what I'm understanding. In the comments, let me know if I'm wrong. But evidently, she asked for money right off, and so do you want money or do you want justice? Which one is it? And they'll probably settle and it'll go away and business as usual. But
it's interesting when it comes to the money stuff, because I have somebody that I know that's been in politics, and she was involved in it, and not involved in it directly, but anyway, she would tell me that people who are involved at high levels and when it's a lot of money, they're not always victims. Where now, not to say that people are not victims, but they don't think in a way that I hate to say this. Some people put themselves in a situation so they're like, I can get something out of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Hell yeah. No. That is true, and which is sad because for and I'm just gonna, because I'm a man, so I must talk from a male standpoint. For every woman that actually has a legitimate case of some sort of abuse, some sort of harassment, there's a woman out there who doesn't and say they do, and then they kind of ruin it for the women who actually have experienced that. And we seen it 100 times over. And so and it doesn't make the situation where it actually does happen any better. It doesn't condone it by any stretch, but now it forces you to play devil's advocate. Like, is this now we got to really do some investigating. So
that's the big thing is now too, is like how much legitimate investigation and resources go into actually trying to find the truth. After watching that movie or that miniseries American Nightmare, where the Gone Girl thing,
that was awesome, dude. Did you finished it?
Oh yeah,
man, that dude was about to get hemmed up.
Seriously,
it was about to be a wrap for your boy.
Like bizarre, and then when she turns up, then they turn on her. I'm
dude. But honestly, he had excruciation detail about what happened that night. Right. I would be like, yo, did you do this? For real, dude.
That 911 call. He was like, how much time had passed, and he was like, my girlfriend got and his demeanor, my girlfriend got kidnapped, and
he was just like a bland motherfucker. It was just his personality, which was because when she turned up. And then they started going into her story, and when she was like, and this is when they still think, and if you haven't watched it, you probably know the story. Spoiler alert. when they're talking to her and she's like, well, I'm going to have sex with you,
Yeah.
And the guy says, and then she comes back. Then she comes back before anyone saw like any video. And he's like, I'm going to have sex with you again.
Yeah.
And you got to act like you like it this time. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Who says that?
So crazy. Man.
And, dude, we're watching it. Jamie and I are watching it. And we're like,
yeah.
And at that point, I think she already knew the story, so she's like not letting on too much.
Yeah.
So I could kind of watch it and appreciate it. But I was like, yeah, she did. At the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, he definitely did it. And then when they showed her, I was like, oh yeah, she definitely did it. Like I had no idea. That was crazy. But if it wasn't for that female sergeant, oh man, it would have been ugly. He would have been spent his life. Well, maybe not at that point because she turned up, but they definitely would have been under a microscope. Or, so
yeah, that was a crazy show.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then they end up 2.5 million. Then they sue Civil Suit 2.5 million. Yeah. It's a hell of a wedding gift, yo.
Yeah,
for real.
It's like, is that? And Wendy and I were talking about it. They weren't in it to get money. They were in to get justice, because it's like a case with that much mess ups and from the investigators, and like the FBI guy was just like writing them off, and they're pushing them like they should have got a lot more, in my opinion. But but they got a Netflix deal, so maybe they are getting more.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah, true. And like that man, that whoever that cop, I forgot his name, but dude, he from Jump Street, he was trying to hem the husband up. Like he is like, I know you did this, just admit it. Like just really like pushing the dude. And they put him in a room and put him in like prison clothes and like dude, you're already it's like you're guilty. You just don't know it yet. It was nuts. It was a good show. And it was only 3 episodes, so it's like you can crush it in an afternoon.
Yeah. Man. You did a review on He-Man. I haven't watched it yet. I'm mixed on it, because I watched your short on it, and I was like, you know what? If I'm a true He-Man fan, I probably won't like it.
Yeah. It's definitely split. Yeah. All the Kevin Smith enthusiasts they're gonna love it because it tracks with what Kevin Smith does. Mm-hmm. But have you seen the other two? Is He-Man. They did 2 before this. They did This is Revolution, but they did.
I heard the one before, which Kevin Smith did as well.
Yeah, I heard 3.
He did all 3. Yeah, my buddy Todd. He was like, they changed it. They
changed. They definitely. So they basically put like a techie spin on the magic stuff. They take. It's the same time, and you're in Eternia or whatever they changed the name to now, and it's very magic driven. Grayskull is obviously magic driven and everything, and but they put like a tech, like a feel on it, and so there's a lot more tech. Everything like Man at Arms is very techy. The new Man at Arms is very techy, and that's what they do. They're almost like the Donatello of Ninja Turtles, like the smart, and so they're kind of doing that thing, and I liked it. I knew going in, because I've watched the previous 2. I knew going in that it wasn't gonna be what I watched as a 8-year-old on the floor on Saturday morning, but I let go of that and just watched it for what it was, and it was a good show. Okay. Dude, there's one scene when He-Man, it kind of turns into like the alpha He-Man type thing, and that shit is cool, man. I'm telling you, and like all the stuff they do with Teela and evolution of her powers and how that's cool shit, man. Yeah. And again, it's only 5 episodes, and they're like 20-minute episodes, so you can get through it again in the afternoon. Yeah. Like, get
how's the animation?
Animation is awesome. Is if I had to compare it to something, maybe Invincible. Like a lot of straight edges. A lot of it's not like the heavy. When you think about the whole He-Man, how it's like a heavy, muscular. All the characters are like heavy, muscular. So it is still some of that, but it's like with a modern twist on it. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I dug it. Yeah, it was cool. I would give it. So when Netflix, when we finished the show, it was like, do you not like it or love it? And I gave it a like it. It was like middle of the road. Give it a 7 out of 10.
Do you remember Siskel and Ebert?
Yeah.
The movie critics, two thumbs up.
Two
Is
thumbs
it two
up.
thumbs
Yeah. That show was crazy. I mean, was it? They really didn't review things and give many good reviews on anything.
No.
And again, that's going back to kind of what we were talking about with the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. It's like, these critics' job is to review your shit, and they're looking at it with a very, very rigid eye. Like they're up here picking apart everything.
Yeah.
And so for you to take those people and say, well, they're the loud minority who's listening to or who's watching the content and influencing everyone else. I mean, shit. I mean, they're critics. That's what they're supposed to do.
I think Muppets did probably the best interpretation of what critics are, with those two guys up in the
the two old dudes or the two old Muppets.
But I was listening to Joe Rogan interview oh my god, I just forgot his name, the guy that did Yellowstone,
Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah. And he was saying that the critics destroyed Yellowstone, like on Rotten Tomatoes.
Do they really?
Oh yeah. They said like, this is terrible, but the fans, obviously it gives it like all the fans love it. The critics hate it, fans love it. Yeah. And it's like, what is a critic? Yeah, you're supposed to be critical and talk about maybe like maybe the storyline wasn't cohesive or this or that. But for you just to say, oh, I don't like any of it because it's a guy in a farm that's protecting his home, and like I don't know, man. It's like it's their opinion. It's like, it's not why they get when critics get offended if the critics get criticized is another thing. I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's their job, and it's up to the people to be, okay, this is a critic, this is one person's opinion, and I'm gonna go watch it. But that's a perfect example of a show that the critics bash, but people still love the show. Like, leave it up to the people. They're watching, and that shit that was supposed to come back last year, and it still hasn't come back. And people are still they're still playing at prime time on CBS the reruns like it's new fucking episodes. Like, still a year and a half later, like it's just a popular show. It just is what it is. I mean, Kevin Costner, when he got his makeup artist pregnant, and still people just love the show, and every spinoff of the show, 1883, 1923, Bass Reeves, Lawman, like every show that Taylor puts out does well. That dude is like golden ticket right now. He's killing it.
Golden jet. He's
killer.
But Taylor Sheridan was also, it's like his approach to the show. It's great cinematography from the cattle ranch scenes to when they're doing the horse racing and all the horse gymnastics. I don't know what it's called.
The equestrian shit.
Equestrian stuff, yeah. And but imagine if, okay, so this show is all of suddenly successful, and he's like, I'm gonna change it all.
Yeah,
let's just change the storyline. Kevin Costner is no longer. He's now going to be, I don't know, just if they Disneyfy it, like.
Hell yeah. He's like, all right, this got the best ratings ever. We made $18.6 million last season. Let's go ahead and trash it all.
Exactly.
Let's get rid of it.
Let's put it in the dumpster fire.
Anyway, can we get the CG department? Can we get some dragons?
Oh my God, yeah.
How do we get dragons out here? No. Yeah, but that's true, man.
Crazy.
It's crazy, man. Yep. So my Superman, Tom Welling. So before Henry Cavill, Tom Welling was my Superman. If you don't know who Tom Welling, if you're like the 17 people in the world that don't know who Tom Welling is, he was the Superman from Smallville. Did 10 seasons. He was open to saying, or he was interested in doing a Smallville movie.
Oh.
Yeah, doing a movie, which would be awesome. Like between him and like Mike Rosenblum to bring back him as Lex Luthor. I think that'll be fucking cool. Yeah. And I think that has the perfect mix of a Superman that the majority of people love and the nostalgia of the actual show. I mean, that show did 10 seasons.
Yeah.
Back on back then when it came out, the WB.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking watching the WB. Yeah. And they were watching Smallville. So I would love to see that happening. I mean, he's been kind of all over the place now. He, Lucifer. He's reoccurring in Lucifer. He did a couple, and that's all I've really seen him in. He done a couple of Elseworld stories for the Supergirl and things like that. So let's make it happen, fans. Dude, it's evident that the fans are everything, and whatever the fans want, they get. So let's make the Smallville movie happen, y'all.
Do it.
That'd be dope.
Did you see the preview for? I didn't know that this was coming out. A John Wick offshoot ballerina.
Oh, you know what? I did hear about that.
Yeah,
I heard about. Is that going to be the Peacock?
Yes,
I think it's going to be on Peacock. Yeah. Well, evidently they did pretty good with the Continental. They did that spinoff, and that did pretty well. So yeah, do it. So that follows like the Russian.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
And the actress that's in that plays it, she's I think she's a one of the Bond girls. I can't remember what other movie she's been in, but I just saw I just made me think of it the other day, and I'm like, she's gonna do great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. I'm watching all of that. Anything like John Wick, any movie that I love that they do like a streaming spinoff, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. I wish they would do like a Fast and Furious type spinoff. Like what happened to the guys from Tokyo Drift. Those dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be cool. I think for me, it'd be cool for me.
Fast and Furious is a franchise I just could not get into. They had me until Tokyo Drift, and I was just like, whoa, because there was none. It just did a total pivot on that.
Yeah, well, that was around the time where there was no expectation to do all these movies.
Yeah,
like it was Fast Furious 1 and 2, and then they were like gonna be done with it, right? And then you do you have the cameo with Vin Diesel in Tokyo Drift, and people loved it. They're like, oh shit, there's still something here. And then here we are, 30 years later. We got Fast and Furious 97. Wow. I ain't mad at it though.
Yeah,
keep them coming.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Well, it's almost about that time.
It's about that time, y'all.
Anything you want to wrap up with?
Oh, man. Again, thanks for subscribing. We are closing in on 29,000 subscribers.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are listening. It makes my heart happy that, somebody wants to hear the bullshit that we spew. If you can continue to follow us on Instagram, Antoine the Juggernaut Instagram, or the Alpha Geek Podcast on Instagram. We're also on TikTok, on the Juggernaut on TikTok. Yeah. And I think we're gonna get on X. Is that still a thing?
Every time I get on there, I get scared. Every time, dude. I literally opened it up and I saw some guy like get impaled and like it is, dude. It's no doubt that Wild Wild West. I know like a couple of the other YouTubers. Mike Zero, he's on X, and so I want to kind of see what they do and see what kind of response they get before I dive in there.
Yeah, but you gotta just assume the worst.
Yeah,
is people want to come after you, talk about your dog and your like everything.
Yeah, it's and I guess it's not so much of that. I do see that if you're not on it, you got to be on it. Like it's got to be on it all the time. And I just don't know if I have the time to dedicate to that. But I would definitely want to get involved with that. So
yeah, man.
But yeah, that's about it for that.
Yes, thank you. Again, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. We'll keep it coming. And we will see you on the flip.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.